All right, something a little bit different today. I've got two channels on YouTube. I've got the Wildlife Inspired channel, all about wildlife photography, mostly bird photography. This is my hobby channel. So when I do maybe a little product review or test something different, it's not really in line with the theme of the other channel. So I just throw it on here. And this one's kind of a curiosity to me. So hopefully you enjoy this. This one is going to be about audio. And in a day and age where we have so much happening remotely, we're on Skype calls and Zoom calls and we're video conferencing all the time. And one of the things that I found is that people neglect the audio. They also neglect the video, by the way, but the audio really makes a big difference when you're communicating remotely or if you're recording videos like this. So, for the sake of this, what I did is I'm going to compare three different microphones. I'm going to compare the built-in microphone to the webcam. Now, this webcam right here, I'm recording video from that. I have other setups. I have a DSLR setup that I use when I'm recording back here and making videos. I'll use it for web, but it's not great for web purposes right now for streaming. So I just go with this Logitech, very popular model, and I would certainly recommend this. It's, in my opinion, much better than what I see out of most laptops built in. So take a look at this. I'll put it in the link. Now, the video on this is fine, but the audio is not. And I'm going to show you a demonstration of that. I'm going to compare that audio to a cheap plug and play USB. You stick this in your computer, it recognizes everything, you start talking. You have to tell your system you're using that microphone, but that's about it. It's really, really easy and it's really, really cheap. And you're going to see it makes a pretty big difference. Then I'll compare that to the microphone that I'm using now. The microphone I'm actually recording into is a Sennheiser dynamic mic. It's mostly the kind of mic you might see somebody singing on stage with, and it's different in that it doesn't just plug into the computer. It uses a standard cable, XLR cable, that is normally what a professional microphone would use. Now, there are thousands of different microphones out there. This is called a dynamic mic, which is different than a condenser mic. I'm not going to go into that. You can research that on your own. But essentially, this is just a little bit more expensive mic, but because it's analog, it requires a digital audio interface to hook up to the computer. So this one, you don't just plug into your computer. You've got to have this third piece of hardware to change the signal so the computer can read it. So now you're not just using a computer and a mic, you're using that third piece to interface. So it's called a digital audio interface. All right. Without further ado, let's just listen to the recording of all three. I'm actually gonna pause this. I'm gonna switch the mic over to the webcam, and we're gonna listen to the webcam for a second. Okay, so now we've got the video coming through the webcam, but we also now have the audio going into the webcam. And for each microphone, it's a little different, so I may have to play around with the sensitivity and try to get them to balance out a little bit. But this is essentially what you're listening to now is the microphone right into the webcam. Now, the webcam has to be 12 inches to 24 inches away because I can't put the video lens right up to my face. So that has to be further out, which also means the microphone is further away, which means it has to be a little more sensitive to pick up my voice, which means it will also pick up other sound. The sound is going to reflect off the walls and kind of bounce into the microphone, and you're going to get this kind of hollow reverb sound. So no matter what you're using here, if it's built into the laptop or built into the webcam, the audio is probably going to be significantly worse than if you just had a third-party microphone that you're using. Let me show you the difference between what's built in, and now we're going to test this really cheap $20 microphone. Okay, now I've got that hooked up. Now, same video, but I've cut the microphone on the webcam, and now I'm using a USB plug-and-play mic. This one on Amazon, I'll link I don't know if there's a newer version out, but I'll link whatever I bought. I think $20 maybe, $15 to $25, and you can find these all day under 50 bucks. Plug and play, goes right into your computer, and it's ready to go. This one I keep about 8 inches from my mouth, so it's closer. I do find if you get these real close to your mouth, the quality isn't the same, and you may get some distortion. But it's just a much, much cleaner sound. Sounds like you're not reverbing off all the walls, and it's so inexpensive, it's so easy to use. I would just encourage everybody, if you're using audio and you're doing a lot of these calls, just grab one of these mics. Not this one, I don't care what you buy, but just consider it. You're listening to the difference right now. I'm also going to do an experiment at the end to just play all three right in a row, and you can hear all three. Now, let me go back to the mic that I started with so you can hear the difference between this one and the more professional-ish mic setup that I use. Okay, and now I'm back on the microphone that I use. Again, much more expensive. So $20. The mic that I have here, between the microphone, which you would probably buy somewhere around $100 new, the audio interface, maybe 50 to 150 new, that'll get you going for 200 bucks. I've added some other things like a preamplifier that I can adjust a little bit. So if I wanted to turn noise up and down or create some different effects, I can do that with hardware instead of doing it through software. So my total mic setup, probably somewhere around $400, but you don't have to spend that. You can probably do $200, and that'll upgrade you from this to a much cleaner sound. And I'll show you one of the other advantages here in just a second with what's called a noise floor, or not getting the background noise as much. This mic, I do have to keep a little bit closer to my mouth. They make different styles. So again, this is a dynamic mic. They make something called a condenser mic, which has advantages. It's more sensitive. It does require power. They also, you've seen, I'll show you back here, these shotgun mics. And this is a mini shotgun mic. I put this on my camera when I'm out in the field, and it actually connects to my iPhone. So if I'm recording out in the field, this really, really helps. You can put this, you could hook this up to this, and I could record through this as well. And those shotgun mics are normally used at a distance. So like this webcam's at a distance, but it's not real great. Those shotgun mics kind of project in a very small area right at your face. So if you're out in the field, which when I do bird photography, I'll make some videos out there. That mic helps a lot, but not what I use here. So this setup, again, going to run you somewhere around $200. Now you can get these USB mics that are easy. They just plug right in. Whereas this one was $20. You can get a good quality USB mic used probably 50 bucks, and 150 is going to get you a really decent USB mic that will sound very close to the microphone that you're listening to right now. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. The USB mics don't give you as much flexibility. So with this mic, I can actually change a lot over here with hardware. I can change some settings and dials and all that. So I'll link you to all of the three things that I'm using to record this, and you can take a look at those as well. But a lot of flexibility with what I have. And let's listen to the audio test now. So I've got to mute. Okay. Now, what you're going to hear is a recording that I made. Let me pull it up on a program called Audacity. This is a freeware. Just download it. It's free. And it does everything you need it to do. You're not going to need much more than what this program will offer. If you're a professional, fine, go buy, expensive piece of software. But for me, no reason for me to spend hundreds of dollars on a professional software when this is free and it does everything I need it to do. So the first part of this we're going to see is at each of these lines, as the recording plays back, it's going to switch. So we're going to start webcam mic first. Then we're going to go over into the middle with the USB, and then to the microphone that I'm using, that dynamic microphone with the digital audio interface. After that, we're going to hear what happens when you record with no sound. So what's inherent in the mic. So here's the first part. I'm now testing the webcam, and what you'll notice with this is that it tends to make the room reverb, and it picks up a lot of the ambient sounds in the room. So this is a test of the webcam. This is a test of the USB mic. Now this mic is a little closer to my mouth, so you won't get as much ambient sound from the background. You'll notice this one probably sounds a little sharp or a little hotter, but it's also much, much clearer than the USB mic, once again, or the webcam mic. Once again, this is a test of the USB mic. And this final test is a test of the mic that I actually use. So this is my Sennheiser dynamic mic with that digital audio interface. You'll likely hear a richer sound that's also very clean without a lot of underlying noise, and it's just a better quality sound overall. Okay, I'm sure you heard the difference from the first to the second. From the second to the third, there's also, to me, I can tell a nice difference. A little richer, little cleaner, but you really see the difference from the first to the second. And that's, again, that's a $20 investment to improve that audio. The other jump from 20, in some cases I told you maybe $100 might be the next jump up, $200 maybe the next jump up, $400 maybe the next jump up. That's a pretty big jump. So if you're just doing this for Skype calls and Zoom calls, find yourself a $20 mic and plug it in and it's ready to go. Listen to what we're going to call the floor. This is the noise that's there that the microphone is picking up when nobody is talking and there's no other noise. I recorded this, there's no fans going, there's nothing. You're going to notice a meter up here at the top. The further that meter goes, the louder it was recording things. And again, there was no noise to record except ambient noise that's coming from a wall or TV somewhere. There's really nothing happening here in my office. So anything that's recorded is really an indicator of the quality of the mic. It's just not that good when it records noise when there's no noise there. So first one again is the webcam. When it switches at the line here, you'll see this line. I'll indicate switch, and then you'll hear the second one, which is the USB, and then the last one, which is mine. When you get to mine, you're going to notice something that's really different as well. Okay, here we go. And when you were looking at that meter on the first area, again, no noise being recorded, it was coming up almost to like 36, like it was in that range. So it was recording sounds and it was playing back sounds that are there in the background. So when you stop talking to your friend, there's a rumble, there's a noise there. Now with the USB, that noise was still there, but it dropped from 36 down, or minus 36 down to like minus 48. So it was a considerable drop, but it was still there. Now mine, because of some of the hardware I have, I can cut that out completely. So when mine, I'm not talking, it's silent. Even though there might be a rumbling somewhere in the house or a little hum somewhere, it's just filtering that out so you don't hear it all. So very, very, very clean. All right, let me pull this back up and just kind of give you my parting words. My parting words are very simple. If you don't have one of these cheap USB plug and play mics, go find one. If you're relying on your built-in laptop mic for everything, take a look at something that is going to make a difference in the sound. Now, if you're interested in doing recordings or making YouTube or blogging, vlog, whatever, then maybe you want to look at something that's a little bit sturdier. Again, these are pretty cheap. Mine broke after a couple years. The legs don't work on it anymore. Something that's a little bit sturdier, something that you can, have a little higher level of recording with. It can be a plug and play, or you can go with something that's going to give you some flexibility using an interface. So something that you can dial in and tweak and change. And that's what I have here, but certainly you don't have to get good quality sound. $20 will make a difference. $75 to $100 will make a real difference, and $200+ will give you the flexibility that you need to do almost professional level of recording. So hopefully you found this interesting. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully it's something that's a little different for me, but hopefully you like it. Leave me some comments down there as well if you found this interesting or helpful, or if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. I don't do a whole lot here, but go ahead and subscribe anyway, but definitely subscribe over on Wildlife Inspired. That's where the best content I have is for sure. And I will wish everybody a good day. Bye now.